Hello again, beautiful people. Welcome back to a very special episode on the Make Mental podcast. As always, I'm Caleb Munsky, but today I am joined not by one, but two special guests. Flew, I would like to say across the country, but only a couple hours to see them. We have Izzy Murray, who is a former college soccer athlete and founder of Push the Goal Soccer, where she now pours her passion into developing athletes on and off the field. And we have Maggie Gehne, if I said that right.
You did. You nailed it.
Go. Who is a social media manager with a background in psychology and sociology. She is passionate about wellness, mindset, and faith. Izzy and Maggie are childhood best friends, and together they co-host the Long Game podcast, which, shameless plug, go see if you can find me on it, where they explore faith, relationships, and wellness through honest conversations about living intentionally. They're both transplants from Northern California. Yep, I did see that right. And now live in Nashville, Tennessee. So that is where we are. Thank you so much for joining us on the Make Mental podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Job. You did good.
This is exciting. Believe it or not, I did not read that before I did that. So that was all teleprompter style. I want to hear who you are from the both of you. Usually I have one guest. Actually, let's do something different here.
Ooh.
Okay.
You're going to introduce Izzy, and you're going to introduce Maggie.
Cute. That's
okay.
fun.
Let's do
that.
this. And then obviously you'll have a chance to introduce yourself, but
Okay.
whoever wants to go first.
Okay, this is Izzy. Izzy, like you mentioned, she is a business owner. She owns Push the Goal Soccer. She is a former collegiate athlete. She played at the D1 level in college. She was a keeper. Prior to that, we both lived in Northern California. She was homeschooled her entire life. As was I. That's a sneak peek into my life for you. We were both homeschooled. But now Izzy owns Push the Goal. That's where she pours a lot of her time into. She helps athletes get recruited at the college level. She does incredible work there. She works one-on-one with these students, and she has coaches that she's personally trained within her business to be able to help these athletes get recruited. And it is like such a personal, relational ministry that she has that coaches kids and athletes not only in their sport but also just as a human and their development, and it's really beautiful to see what she's done. Her husband is a firefighter. We're all best friends, honestly. I could tell you her whole life story.
We got time. No.
So good. Keep going.
And she just bought a house 5 minutes away from me, and I'm so excited.
Literally.
Fancy.
And they kept a surprise.
Yes, yeah, I didn't know for
Until
2 months. She put her house
Thursday.
on the
Yeah.
market.
What?
And I had no idea. And then she when she told me, which was literally just
She was
last
in
week on
shock.
Friday, I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
I moved 5 minutes from her.
Were you mad? Were you happy? What's the...
I was shocked and then happy, but I was
They
like,
have been telling us we've been wanting to move close for so long.
my husband and I have been peer pressuring them for forever to move
Yeah.
to our town.
Because when people
so.
hear that, they're like, creepy. I'm like, no, it's not like that, guys.
No, and we were on the phone last night. I was driving home from the gym, and I was like, I just passed your house. I saw Mitchell outside.
It's amazing.
So anyway, that's where
Awesome.
Izzy's at now.
Cool. That was really good. Okay,
you.
this is Maggie. Most importantly, she's my best friend. We have been best friends since we were 7, and we met on a soccer field. That's just super cute.
Yes.
Maggie is also the wife to a firefighter, which is really cool. And she is a social media manager and kind of even more to like, what is your role now? I don't even know. She keeps getting promoted all the time.
It's technically still manager. Yeah.
But she manages the team and everything for Josh Axe, which is like a really big, it's the Health Institute business and stuff. And she's taught me so much from her role there and has expanded into the position a lot and just absolutely crushed it. And then obviously we're co-hosts and we love doing our podcast together. She's super passionate about faith. We're both super passionate about our faith and our families, and very passionate about our health and wellness too, for sure. We're like, she's always teaching me things. Literally last night, I just made those muffins that you sent me. She made up a recipe for like these healthy muffins.
You made it up?
They're amazing.
I did.
It's
Gluten free.
like
I can't even
legit.
follow a recipe.
It's so good. Mitchell loves them. So yeah.
They're like craveable. I'll send you the recipe.
They
if you
Okay,
want,
what are
but
they?
I
'Cause
was
now I'm hungry.
craving them.
They're
I should have
berry
brought some.
oat muffins, and they're just like so moist and so dense, but it's like there's no like what's it called? There is added sugar, but not refined sugar in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're so good.
So good. So Maggie's good
Now
with
I'm
a lot
hungry.
of things like that. And she's helped me my entire life because we've literally been best friends since we were 7. And she's helped me through definitely my mental health journey. For sure. I probably literally would not be here without Maggie today. So she has been absolutely pivotal in my journey. I'm so grateful for you and I love you.
Oh, that's awesome to have a friend like that, especially one that you
Yeah.
get to kind of not do your day job with, but still get to be around and work with. And obviously
best,
in
yeah.
the podcast, why did you guys decide to start it on top of what you already do?
Yeah. So it was funny. It was a couple, like, Maggie and I, since we were young, always did projects together. Like, we always were doing things together, whether it was like 75 hard, like a challenge, or being like, we're going to do a cleaning business together, or like a peanut butter business, or a cheesecake. These are all things that we
These are
actually,
real examples.
real things that we did.
Why didn't the cheesecake business work?
It did work, but
Excuse me.
it was like a summer thing. I
Okay.
had just had an ACL surgery, couldn't
okay.
make any money, and she just gotten back from being a missionary. So we were both in this phase of like, what are we doing right now during the summer?
So
And
let's
like,
sell cheesecake came to mind.
Yes, yeah.
Mini cheesecakes
Mini
in front of
cheesecakes.
Safeway. Yeah.
Because like I
Wow.
couldn't like walk, or so we couldn't go back to cleaning houses because I couldn't do that anyway. So that's what we did together.
It was very random. I feel like we made the cheesecakes one time, and then we were like,
these
we
are
could
so
sell
good.
these.
We can sell these.
And that
And
was
we
it.
did. So,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah. So we always have done projects like since we were literally 7 years old, like, and we like basically ran our households as far as like cleaning and cooking at a young age. I'm one of 8. She's one of 7. So we come from enormous families. And so we've always had that mentality of like, what are we going to do? And we've always been on the path of like personal development together too, and faith and all the things. Oh, and our other business, our brand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so many things. But anyways, once we started launching, she started getting more into her career. I had actually originally been running the podcast solo, and then I was just like, it didn't feel in alignment anymore. I knew that I had wanted to switch it, and I was like really just praying like, what should I do? But we had been talking like, what's our project going to be that we're doing together? We kept on mentioning, I was like, I know we're going to do something together, but like, I don't know what it is. And then I was just like praying, and then I was just like, Maggie, like, would you want to co-host with me?
And when
And I
Izzy
had-
asked me, I like was like, I've never like I hadn't thought about co-hosting. Like that was not the
Yeah.
project in mind. But
Yeah.
immediately I think I felt a little bit of like that sounds scary. And I really felt. And those are the times when I'm like, okay, I need to lean into it though. Like it sounds scary, it sounds intimidating. I should probably do it. And it's been like such an incredible creative
Yeah.
outlet to be able to do together.
And with Maggie too, I know how she is, so I don't push too much. I'm like, so like, would that be like something you'd be interested in? She's
Yeah,
like,
give
you
me
know?
my time to
I
think
give her
about
time.
it.
We did a couple episodes together, and we were just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, let's just go.
It flowed so smoothly.
Yeah. And then I was
Yeah.
like, yep. So yeah, now it's what we do.
And you guys never run out of things to talk about, it seems like, from what I've watched.
Sorry, yeah.
You guys always have things to talk about on those
do
episodes.
Not run out of things to talk about.
It is fascinating,
Yeah,
though.
we just.
I think that's a gift of having the right co-host is
Yeah.
that like when we sit down in these chairs to have a discussion, like we can go for 45 minutes, an hour, and we have to cut ourselves off. And
We're like,
it's
we're done.
so nice to feel like we have like unlimited material to choose from. And there's
Yeah.
never like, I don't know what to talk about. It's been 10 minutes, you know, like that never happens. We have,
Yeah.
you know, decades of friendship between us. So
Yeah.
it's a blessing.
Obviously, you guys are very important to each other. What do the husbands think about it? I've always been curious of that. Are they like, oh, you're going to go spend time with each other now? Or are they kind of involved with it?
They're involved with
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
I would say so we prioritize hanging out just us
Okay.
because we love to have like
Girl
our
time.
time to hang out. And it's convenient that our husbands are firefighters because on the days when they're both on shift, we're like, those are our days to hang out, just
Yes.
us. But it's also been so much fun for them to like hang out with each other, and now like they have this career in common, and so we do so much, the four of us, and obviously so much more now that you're 5 minutes away.
I know. We went and played pickleball the other day, and like we've gone on multiple trips, all the four of us all together
cool.
and stuff. So
But I think that they see like just the value that this friendship brings for us in our personal lives. Like they're nothing but supportive and love it for us.
That's
and
awesome.
you know, I think that they think we're hilarious when we're together, probably. We get in our own little world. Sometimes we get competitive against them because it's
we get
just
very competitive.
Izzy and I versus the world, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound lovely. It's a nice little community that you guys have built and managed to do it for so many years now since you guys have been little. Did you guys connected right away, or did it kind of take like someone introducing someone to someone else, like in terms of your two's friendship?
Well, like homeschool families are weird where it's like as
in
soon
general.
as there's like a family that meshes, it's like it's just you're paired up with whoever's similar in your age essentially, and we immediately were like okay, and we had met them in group settings, and then I invited her over for a tea party. And then,
and we were neighbors, so we lived in the same area. Like we could walk to
it was
each
awesome.
other's
That is
houses,
helpful.
which was really cool. But
Yeah.
I think it was fun, like this friendship, because Izzy has always been so extroverted, and I've always been very introverted. So we were really good for each other, like a very good balancing friendship there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think one thing I heard you guys mention is you guys just spend time with each other. And without the husbands, right? Obviously, it's important to include them, but I guess for each of you, how crucial has that boundary setting been for your mental health? Just like being able to tell the person you love most, like, I'm only going to go hang out with my best friend. I need this time. Like, how have you been able to create such strong boundaries?
Oh, I don't even think we had to create it, to be honest. Like for me, like it's just the intention behind it, but as same as like I want to have my time with Maggie, like I want to also make sure that my husband gets his time with his friends, because I know it's mutually beneficial for both of us, for him to have his solo dude time and me to have my solo girl time is just the best thing. So I don't even think it's had to been like setting a boundary, but just like prioritizing it more for me. That's
and
like,
it honestly, I think it makes my husband so happy when I'm able to hang out with Izzy, and the opposite is true too, where it makes me so happy when he's able to hang out with like his close guy friends, because like you said, that time is just so important. So it never feels like a conflict of interest or like we're missing out on time with each other, because we just know that that's so important for each other's like personal lives. And then I get to show up as a better wife because I have a really good friendship foundation with other strong women. So it doesn't feel like a conflict at all. It's very much beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, I find that interesting because whether you guys realize it or not, it takes a very high level of emotional intelligence to get to that point to where you're not jealous if someone else that you love is spending time with someone else, or you're not overly cognizant of, oh my God, I only spent X amount of time with so-and-so, and it just becomes tiring.
Yeah, it's true.
Has this just been natural to you, like you said, or is it something that you've put in some self-work to get to the point where you're like, yeah, I know what I need and we're cool with it?
I think there's a couple layers here. I would say the first is we kind of joke about it. It's not that we don't really have other friends. Like we do. We have other friends, but like as far as like close friends, I don't like that I spend time with consistently. Just the space that I am in with like my business and everything that I do, like I don't really have time for that kind of. So I'm not spread thin. I think if you're spread thin with trying to manage a lot of friendships, then it's like you go a mile wide but an inch deep. And cultivating relationships is something that's really, really important to me. But as far as like deep, close friendships, it's really like my husband and Maggie. And that's like pretty much where I spend my time as far as that goes. And not that there aren't other people that I hang out with, here and there. But because of that, it doesn't feel like if I tried to push more, then I would be like, how do I manage this? I can't do this. And so I just don't.
That's very
that makes
practical.
sense. For this phase of life, at least.
Yeah. And I think Like this is, I think it depends on the relationship too, because I've been in, past relationships where if that trust
that's
isn't
true.
fully there, or if I'm wondering what my partner is going out and doing, or maybe my partner is going out and they're drinking or they're hanging out with friends that I don't necessarily like, that starts to become more of a conflict of interest. And like the beautiful thing that I'm so grateful for with my husband, and I know you'd say the same about him, is that I love his friends. And I know that when he goes and sees and hangs out with his friends, like his cup is being filled and they are really good influences and he comes back better for it. I mean, maybe they're not having super deep conversations all the time. Maybe they're just having fun, but regardless, he comes back better. And I think that's a huge part too, is that there is that full trust in our relationship. He's not going out to bars and drinking when he's hanging out with his friends. So there's that's so aspect
true.
of it as well. Just the trust, who the friends are, what they're doing when they hang out. And that's goes back to just choosing a good partner. I was really blessed, but I've also been with people who did not have those qualities. And so it really matters who you choose.
That's true. And having their friends being also in committed relationships is a very different dynamic than if my husband or her husband just had a bunch of single friends, guys that they were going to hang out with. The energy is just different. The mentality is just different versus like most of Mitchell's friends, his two closest friends are both married.
Yeah.
Too. So it's like you're in that common ground of I'm married, so I'm not gonna go do something stupid.
Yeah, I think I noticed something in both of what you guys were saying was quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Right? Your husband comes back happier, more full. You said you don't have many more like hundreds and thousands of friends or whatever we think people have these days. But you guys do have a following, whether it's in your business, whether it's in the podcast, whether it's in your community.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? Because obviously in today's day and age, everyone wants the most amount of followers, the most amount of this, the most amount of that. But I think you guys are onto something when it's really the quantity of the relationship.
Yeah.
Like how are you able to still achieve your goals by having a following, but then like be committed to the quantity of your relationships? Because I think so many people, especially athletes, get stuck in, I need to be at the top. I need to be at the top. I need to have this many people look up to me. They forget who they are, who their friends are, and just themselves.
Yeah. I think the first thing for both of us is just really trying to make sure we are grounded in Christ. That has to be there. I think that, and that's something that's like, it's a constant like redirection. Like how can I get back to that? Because it's so easy to get distracted with so many things all the time. And really it's just like, okay. And kind of talking about like content and followers and stuff like that. One of the biggest things that like I try and think about is, authenticity. How can I be authentic? And if I'm being authentic, then it feels like it's in alignment. But it's only going to feel like, if it's something that's just not authentic, if I'm not really being myself or I'm trying to be a certain way, which, a lot of time when you come from the place of like, oh, I want to get more followers, you're trying to think like, what can you give me? Versus when you're in this authentic place of like what I actually have to offer. It's like, well, what can I create that's going to add value to someone else's life? And when and I think that's how we do the podcast too. So we don't have this pressure of like, oh, it's gotta be like this. It's just like, are we adding value? And if you are coming from that place, like that's not that won't drain you. It doesn't make you feel tired. It doesn't make you feel like, because you're not trying to get, you're giving. And so when you come from that, it's like more of this abundance mindset in place. And I just don't think it's draining.
Yeah, it's much more fulfilling. And I would add on to that and say, like, it's also a matter of just realistically prioritizing too. Like prioritizing where I'm spending my time. Because I want to pour into my marriage. I want to pour into my friendship with Izzy. I want to pour into the podcast. I have a full-time job. Like, how do I prioritize all of these different things that are important to me? I like my husband, obviously my relationship with God comes first. My husband is of like high priority.
Yep.
If there's something going on in my home life, I might cancel on Izzy because I know I need to take care of my marriage first. So it's having realistic priorities. And I know that Izzy understands that. And same thing for her. If something's going on with her marriage or she needs to figure out something with Mitchell, they're going to spend time doing that. And I'm not going to be offended that she needs to cancel or we need to push something back.
And even if it's like simple, like, oh, we wanted to hang out, but it's like, hey, sorry, I just really need to spend time with Mitchell.
Yeah.
She'd be like, okay, cool. I want to go spend time with Matthew anyway. So
yeah, and it works out. So it's having those, you know, relationships where that's understood. But I would just say prioritizing. And that's why with our podcast, we love to film, we love to record. We don't do the editing side of that. And that's what makes it sustainable for us.
Yeah.
So just practically prioritizing what we want to do, what we want to outsource, all of that is super helpful.
Yeah, a high level of self-respect is what you guys have, I think. Again, whether you notice it or not, for yourself, for your partner, for each other. I think that's so beautiful and so rare. So I'm happy for you guys that you found it.
Thank you.
It, again, from the surface level, it just feels like it fell into your lap. But I know that's not true. I'm trying to dig beneath the surface here. When have you been mad at each other? Come on, give me something juicy here.
Yeah, we have had arguments for sure.
But how do you always come back to each other? How do you always end up finding each other?
Talk about it. I mean, we haven't had many. I know we had one like 5 years ago or 4 years ago.
Yeah. And there probably been like small ones, or miscommunication. I want to say though, as far as like, how do we come back to each other?
Yeah.
And this is going to sound kind of odd, but like we look at our friendship like a marriage. Like we're not walking away from this. There's no like, hey, she made me mad, I'm going to find another friend.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds weird, but we really do. Like there's no walking away from it. Like I love you. And even when we have a fight, we're going to figure it out. And again, like we don't fight very often. We're very compatible people. We want to communicate and talk through things. I think when we have had like fights or things like that, it's been like miscommunication. And like we've learned over, you know, the 2 decades almost that we've been friends, like how crucial communication is for us. So it definitely didn't fall into our laps. I would say there's been times when I was a missionary and I was gone for 9 months and we barely talked at all because I didn't have my phone on me. And then I just wasn't allowed to be on my phone.
She did have her phone, like, and I would know those like potential days. I'd be like, oh, I gotta check. Like, could Maggie call me? And we'd call and like
we would talk.
We'd
talk.
That's
and
awesome.
when I came back after 9 months, we picked up right where we left off. And it
it
wasn't
sounds
like
a relationship.
it sounds like, you know, like you didn't go off and, you know, make another new best friend. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
It's not like The Notebook.
See, I was thinking Grey's Anatomy. I was thinking you guys were Christina and Meredith and just...
I don't know that storyline.
That's cute. I do know that. That's pretty
on
sweet.
a Grey's kick right now. But
I love it.
yeah, no, I don't think people talk about it enough, like friendship breakups or friendship love, honestly, because that's what it is. I think it's like some weird gray space that we're just afraid to talk about, like loving more than one person, but in a completely different way.
I would agree. Yes.
Can you guys speak to that? Like, obviously your love for each other is different than your husband's, and how are you guys okay with just openly sharing that?
Yeah, I think I like that you bring this up because I actually think this is a really, really good point because I feel like we do live in a culture of so much estrangement and so much like, well, it didn't work out. Like, you're not my friend anymore, you know? And
all
I think,
or nothing.
Yeah, all or nothing. And it's like, man, it takes work. At the end of the day, it does take work. Like Maggie said, though, we're very, very compatible. Like we always have been. And when something has come up, it's just like, as soon as you resolve a conflict, you actually come back stronger because then you have trust that you can resolve whatever the conflict is. But I think there's a lot of time where people either just won't talk about anything and they'll be like, okay, we're not going to address this. But there's been even times where like, you know, like a couple months ago, I don't know, I just said something stupid about someone else while we were all hanging out and I felt super embarrassed. I was like, why did I say that? And like, I said sorry in the moment, but I went back like 3 days later and I was like, dude, I just got to really apologize because I feel embarrassed about what I said. And she was just like, yeah, of course I forgive you. Like, all good, move on. But I think you have to be willing to apologize. Yeah. And just be like, shoot, yeah, sorry I just said that. Like, I don't know why I did that, you know? Yeah. So... communication and be willing to apologize and don't put anyone on a pedestal also, because I think that's what we do with friends. We expect our friend to just be perfect. But at the end of the day, our friends are also just people who are flawed and going to make mistakes. Like Maggie's going to make mistakes. She's going to do something that's going to hurt my feelings, you know? She's like, whoa.
She's like, speak for yourself.
I'm gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt her feelings sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the reality. Now, what I'm gonna have to do is trust that either she's gonna come to me and then I'm gonna be able to apologize and make it right, or she's gonna be able to be like, wait, that was about me. That wasn't about her anyways.
And I'm
vice
gonna
versa.
figure it out.
And she's
Yeah.
gonna figure it out. But she's not gonna let something stew and hold on to that and use that as a weapon later. She's gonna tell me.
Yeah. And I think another beautiful part of our friendship is that we are compatible and yet we do have differences. And like those differences, we've been able to see where we are the same. And I'll give the example, like we are not the same religion. Like Izzy is non-denominational. I grew up like very strict Catholic. And so like we had different views.
In that. Yeah.
Yeah, we had different views on certain things religion wise. But I will say very confidently, if it weren't for Izzy, I wouldn't be in my faith the way that I am, because we had so many similarities and I was able to see her love for the Lord, and that spurred me on, even though like some of our faith beliefs don't line up perfectly. And so I think we're so afraid, like as soon as someone has a different opinion than us, like I have to protect my space. I can't be around you. We can't have a discussion about this. I'm going to cut you out. I feel like that's so common in today's society.
Yeah.
And for us, like we have different views on certain things, and that's not a make or break for our friendship. We get to have really good discussions about it. I get to hear a different point of view. And I think that's also important to remember is as much as we're compatible, you'll still have differences with your best friend or your friends. And that is an okay thing.
Yes. That's
Have
such
a conversation
good point.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we're lucky in the sense that like since we were 7, we like always, because when you're raised in your religion when you're young too, you think that like you're very in your box about it, you know.
We were just talking about it. It was like we prayed for each other.
Like, oh, I hope she becomes this.
So she doesn't go to hell.
So, yeah, I was like, I hope Maggie doesn't go to hell.
Like in a loving way, I was just like, I don't know if she's gonna go if she's non-denominational.
Well, I might see you there. So no, that's beautiful though, and it makes me reflect on some of my time with some of my best friends. And I guess I never really thought about it. I lived in a college house where 2 of us were Catholic, 1 of us was a non-believer, 1 of us kind of piddled but wasn't really a full believer, and the other one was Jewish.
Wow. Yeah.
And we all got along for the most part. Obviously, you hate them some
really
days, you
cool.
love them others.
Yeah.
But I find myself in contact with my friend who's Jewish
Aww.
almost more than
That's so sweet.
anything else.
I love that.
And it's not because we don't understand each other. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's because we understand each other so well and respect that they're so passionate about something and they believe so hard in something. Like on Christmas morning, he'll wake up and text me Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Even though he may or may not participate. Like it's
love
not my
that.
business.
Yeah.
And then I'll wake up and be like, hey, you're going to have to remind me when Hanukkah is again, because I just don't look into it. But then I'll text him, be like, Happy Hanukkah, buddy. Like, or I'll leave him alone when he's at not church, when he's at
Synagogue.
Thank you, synagogue.
Nice.
Now I have to do some more research in order to help him out. Jeez, now I'm a bad friend. But
You're a bad friend, Caleb.
yeah, well, to some I probably am, and I'm okay with that. But I want to. You guys talked about as much as you're similar and compatible, you're different. This is kind of where I want to maybe separate and get your guys' opinions, not necessarily on religion, but about what you do and who you are. Aside from your strong connection, obviously you deal a lot with athletes and you deal a lot with the mental side of things. When you sit down, Izzy, with a potential college athlete and you're helping them figure out where they want to go, how do you help them figure that out athletically, but also as a person?
Yeah, it's so funny. I had a call with my coach this morning about an athlete right now. She just got offered a full ride, Division I. That's pretty rare. It's like to get literally a full ride. And the first thing I asked my coach, I said, well, how did she say she felt about it? Like, that's the first thing I want to know. How does that athlete feel about it? And then kind of from there, I can make the decision. But I'm really trying to base everything in my life on like what I think about. And then when I help these athletes, like, I'm always trying to think at least in the 5 year. in the 5 years. So I'm like, where does this, and the thing is, a 17-year-old kid doesn't really know, a 16-year-old kid doesn't really know. But it's one of the biggest things that I'm very passionate about and try to avoid for a lot of my athletes is student debt. I just don't want them doing that. And if we can minimize, what'd you say?
I should have come to see you.
If we can minimize it or eliminate it altogether, that's going to be actually my first route. That's the first direction that I go with, because I think about them in the long term. And they don't understand that, and parents don't understand that, and they're like, oh, it's fine, and I just it doesn't sit right for me to just be like, oh yeah, let's just go into a bunch of debt and let's do this. So that's actually one of the first things that I base it off.
Just let them know that option exists.
Because you care about them as not only an athlete, but as a person. And that's your coaching style reveals that too, because not only do you coach them in athletics, but like this is how you should act towards your parents and your coaches as a person.
Yes.
And this is how you should treat your teachers and your professors.
Yeah. To me, it's literally like 90% personal development, developing people out. The 10% is like, and also I'm going to get you a scholarship to play in college.
Big bonus there.
Yeah.
Right?
So like that's pretty much how I think about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I guess from your side of things, when you're managing such a large account in front of so many eyes, how do you decide what gets out there?
It's a really good question. So being a social media manager, it's like a whole other beast than just posting your own content, because now you are representing someone else.
Correct.
And it does feel like almost heavier in a way, because it's like, I don't want to misrepresent this person that I am posting for. A lot of it is making sure that I know this influencer's beliefs and their mindset, their values, and making sure that I honor all of that. And I think also it's bearing that in mind, that values come before views. Like, I will not post something that I know is misaligned with this influencer. And I think that's really key. If you're looking to hire a social media manager, like, you want to make sure that they're in alignment with your views and your values, and they're going to put that first before engagement, because otherwise I think you could get a lot of content out there that is not aligned with what you want. So for me, it's just like being really intentional and invested in his brand and who he is, and making sure that I honor that in all of the content that I put out. And obviously there are so many systems that go into like how content is created, and that's a whole other thing. But I would say that first and foremost.
Yeah, and I think, again, my brain just thinks in terms of athletics, because as I admitted, I'm not fully out of that world yet, but as a leader or a team captain, or as just someone on a team as well, the values of the team should come before the values of yourself. And that's what I'm hearing out of you.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm going to assume that the values of you are different from the values of a lot of the people that you've done work for. How do you kind of swallow your pride and say, hey, even though I don't necessarily believe in some of this, I have to do what's good for them?
Honestly, I don't think I ever want to be in a position where their values are misaligned with mine.
Okay. Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I have not been yet, and I will work to not put myself in that position, because
You'd
I
say
don't
no
want to be.
If someone approached you and they weren't aligned, you'd respectfully decline?
Yeah, if it were a company or a brand where I'm like, I feel major misalignment, I would not say yes, because I don't think that I could live with myself morally to put out content like that, and to just say, well, it's their brand, it's not mine, because I know my values. Like, I know who I am in God's eyes, and I don't want to promote something that I am not aligned with. And so I've been really blessed in this job, because this company that I work for is very faith forward, and the accounts that I manage are also very faith forward. And so for me, it's a beautiful alignment. And so I can't speak into that, because I've never managed platforms that I'm not aligned with, and I will work not to be, because that would be a conflict of interest for me.
Yeah, what a beautiful thing to put your values and your worth and combine them into the same thing, and then also make a living out of it. I mean,
I've been blessed. Yeah. I mean, I'm so grateful.
Again, that's the end goal for so many people. If I'm sitting there listening to this at home thinking, dang, Maggie, I really want your job, tell us a couple things that just suck about it. That, like, is this like, okay, yeah, you might want my job, but you don't know this about it.
Oh, that's fair. That's really fair. You know what? You got to put the influencer or whoever you're managing, you have to put their content first. Like I have my own ideas. I'm like, ooh, this would be great for, a post or whatever. But it's like, if that's not aligned, I can't post it, and it's not even so much like value alignment, but just topic alignment is what I'm referring to. Like there might be something that I saw on the news that I would love to post on my own account, but it's like, I can't do that on their feed. The other downside is that I spend so much time in social media for my job. At the end of the day, I don't really want to be on social media personally at the end of the day. So I would love to post more. I probably should post more. But once I get done with my 9 to 5, I'm like, I don't want to open up Instagram.
You got to hire a social media manager.
I seriously do. I need to outsource that. It's like, yeah, I could train them up. But I think that would be a downside to me, is just like at the end of the day, social media can become a job. And I think that I would like to be able to post on my personal more, but sometimes I just don't want to.
Yeah, I think that was a huge thing for me as well. I don't hire, like I do solo operations, but one thing I made sure to do is hire a social media manager because
nice.
Like you said, I would like want to go check in on my friends, but then I just didn't have the capacity to open another app because I spent, screen time. I use the screen time app religiously and I'm like, I can't go another 8 hours of the day looking at this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
I can't even look at my screen time. I'm like, it's for my job. Okay.
Well, that's fair. Because if you looked at the screen time of anyone who works throughout the day staring at a computer, it would probably add up. Yours just happens to be on a phone or a tablet. Or, I'm sure the computer as well, but
that makes me feel better.
yours tracks it much more closely.
Right.
Izzy, for you, obviously, a lot of your job is based on results.
Yeah.
Not that social media management isn't, but like you said, we can hide like counts now. We can post and have our niche like our stuff. It doesn't have to reach everybody. Mm-hmm. When you get an athlete who doesn't make a college or make a choice that you think is best for them, how are you okay with that?
I think as long as I did everything in my power to put them in the best position to make the best decision for their future, that's all I can do. And I haven't really come across that much yet, thankfully, because really the whole thing I do is create opportunity.
Sure.
And usually for the most part, I did have one last August take an offer that I don't think they should have necessarily taken that one because they basically had 91% covered somewhere and they decided to take like a 30% covered somewhere else. So that was hard for me to be like, why are you doing that? But at the end of the day, the family's going to make the decision for the athlete. Like they're going to make it together. And if it, at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I still got you that. And so that's still, that's better than nothing. And a lot of it's out of my control, but it's really about, how can I just help them the most that I possibly can and influence the most I can to also help like their career afterwards or whatever that is. And, hopefully offset whatever decision that they make that maybe I'm not super stoked about for them.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about it from that lens. You provide all the information for them. It's not your job to choose.
I cannot choose. Yeah. I just put them in the best position I can to make the best decision for their future. That's all I can do.
It's kind of like a coach or a teacher to begin with.
That's,
obviously what you do, now that I say that out loud, that sounds stupid, but when one theme I've noticed between you two consistently is just being intentional where you place your time and energy and value. Not that we don't as athletes, but we usually only place it on our sport. Like everything revolves around the sport. Scholarships revolve around sport. Our day is built around it. Our eating habits, our training, our sleep, everything.
Yeah.
If we were to strip away sport for a minute, Izzy, what is one thing you would suggest to a client of yours and just say, hey, when you're choosing a college, make sure this bucket of yours is filled?
I think it's kind of that common theme that you hear a lot, and you've actually mentioned to me before, which is if you were injured, would you go here? Would you like it here? But I don't just do that because that sometimes is not the place that's going to set them up for long-term success financially. So for me, it's really about the after. And it's something, like I said, I'm continuously trying to look at like the 5 and the 10 year, like that's how you're going to build anything that's good, right?
Yeah.
Is not, we live in the instant gratification. And a lot of my athletes and families, they live in like the Instagram world where they just want the picture of showing where they went. And I so don't care about that. And definitely not for them. I care about, I am so not against going to a JUCO first. Like one of my students just signed that to a JUCO. I'm so not against going to, an NAI or whatever. Like I don't care about all the like status. I care about their future. Yeah. And so for me, that's always what I'm going to be pushing and coming first. And, I just really just about asking those questions. Well, tell me, you want to go here? Like, why? Do you have a really good reason other than the way that this looks to other people? A lot of times they don't have a good reason.
Wow.
They really don't.
What's the, I guess, common bad reason if they don't have a good reason?
Yeah, they don't really face it. A lot of them don't know it. It's just social pressure. They just just want it to look a certain way to certain people. And it's something like you have said too, is that we don't live in a flaw highlight. Like it's just the highlight reel of our life, right?
Yeah.
It's not the flaws of our life. It's the highlight reel. And they want to just show people, look how cool I am. This is where I went.
Yeah.
Oh, and really what they're saying is like, am I good enough? Am I good enough? That's all they're saying. And so my whole thing comes back to is like, you are worthy as you are. So you don't need all this status. So I'm like, if I can build up their self-esteem and I can instill that in what I teach and how I push, then like we're going to avoid a lot of these problems, like from the roots essentially.
Wow.
And so that's why I try and push a lot of my content in that direction. And if I can change the way they think earlier on, then it's less of a problem down the road.
Yeah, it's very interesting. There's more that goes into it than meets the eye.
Yes. And there's a lot bigger motivation for me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I said, it's like 10% is the scholarships, right? And
is
like
the Instagram post.
Is getting people recruited. The other side is like everything else. Like, can I make this world a better place? Can I positively impact, these families, these athletes? And that's what I push for. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that you said that you help them see that they're worthy regardless of what they choose.
Yeah.
And I think that ties into both of your guys' personal life, but also your jobs. What is one thing from each of you that you're trying to unlearn that you currently do?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
it's a really good question.
I know it's a curveball. I apologize, but
it's good.
I personally find myself as a coach, like comparing my past version of self, my player self to the current player and be like, well, when I played, I did it this way. Or when I just myself to them, it's like, no, they're not me.
Yeah.
I know what they're going through, sort of. It's
Yeah.
a different time period, but let me see if I can help them within themselves. That's something that I have to unlearn, is not to say, well, this is how I did it, you should do it too. It's, well, yeah, I can tell you how I did it, but let me listen to you and figure out how you need to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No.
I heard you take a breath. I was like,
I know. Well, I was going to say, I think something we talked about on our podcast recently that I have been learning, and like my husband Matthew has really helped me to learn this too, is just like performance being attached to worth. And that's something that you were talking about too. But I have felt like in relationships, like I need to do X, Y, and Z, and then someone will, love me, and then, we'll have a good relationship. I'll have done my part. I need to do my 50%. But what I'm finding more and more, and this is also like, this reflects our relationship with God too, is that like we can come as we are. And I can do that with my husband. I can do that with Izzy, where I can come as I am. And even on the days where I can't give my 50% or I can't give as much as I would like to, I am still loved where I am, and my worth is not attached to my performance in that. And it's a really beautiful thing to learn. It's a hard thing to learn, because I am, when you're driven and you want to be highly successful and you have a high level of drive, all of those things, you want your performance to be good day in and day out, 24/7, and the reality is that it won't be. And so learning that lesson sooner than later is so helpful, and that's something that I'm learning right now, and therefore unlearning that my performance is attached to my worth, I would say.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, samesies for sure on that one. Something was coming up as you were saying it. It's kind of fleeting me right now. I think just in the direction of performance, but I guess just the same thing. I kind of forgot it. I'm sure it'll come back to me, but same as her, just echoing what she said, like, you know, my worthiness is not, you know, attached to my outcomes, my performance, all those things, you know? And as athletes, like, that's one of the biggest things I have to remind them is like, you're worthy as you are. You're worthy as you are. Like, oh, and I remember my other thing that I was saying is that, you know, a lot of time when I am making content, I'm very cautious of like, I try and like pray before I do and stuff, because it's a weird space to be, especially when you're talking about faith and you're also going viral and stuff. It's like, you want it to be coming from a good place. And I feel like it's something I'm very cautious of. I'm like, is this coming from a good place, or am I just like, this is going to go viral, you know? So it's something you got to really think about. And so what I have been unlearning is that you need to, you know, hide your pain or hide these things that maybe seem like embarrassing. And that's actually, that is where your strength comes from, is expressing that and showing that. And not necessarily like enabling it, but showing, you know, the improvement from it. And so speaking on my own story versus anyone else's. And I think you do a really great job of that too, being like, well, from my, you know, this is where it's coming from me. And that is something that has been really helpful to learn. Not feeling like I need to hide any of that, but I need to be vulnerable, share it, explain it. And then hopefully I can, you know, help someone on their path as well.
Yeah. If you guys are comfortable, let's get vulnerable for a minute.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Let's do it.
We just heard what you're unlearning. Can you walk us through a moment where it was ugly, where it was like, from what you just said, like, not where it was, you just wake up in the morning, your hair's everywhere type of ugly, but from where it was like, you were saying, you post from a place of purpose and perspective and not just to go viral.
Yeah.
Was there a post that you posted and you feel bad because you were like, yeah, this is going to go viral, I'm just going to post it?
No, because at the end of the day, I come from the place of trying to add value. I really do think that is the place that I do come from. Maybe I need to reflect more, and that's possible. I think it's something I'm just very aware of.
Yeah.
It's more recent. I'm posting more like faith stuff specific for athletes. And I think that's why I'm a little more cautious with it, because it is new for me. So I don't know, maybe I have not been, and maybe I need to search my heart and see if that's come from a place that wasn't totally good or whatever. But for example, the other day I was going to make a reel about a verse that I read, and I like made it, and I was like, I was just like, Lord, like, I don't really know. Is that what I was supposed to do? I don't really know. Delete it. I was like, all right, God, let me pray. And it was just very clear. He's like, talk about you. And so I was like, all right, guys. And I read this verse and I was like, I did not walk this. I did not do this as an athlete. So I am sharing this because I hope that you can be better than me and that you can do it better than I did and better than I have. And so I feel like when I come from that place, it's like a good compass for me to see like, where am I at? Or if I'm trying to be like, I'm so good. So
all preachy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the compass that I use there. But I think we can be easily deceived. So I don't want to say that I haven't or that I won't, but it's always something that I'm trying to at least be very aware of and invite God into to help guide that, because that's tough.
Yeah.
And you can't know. It's not like obvious. It's just your heart posture.
Yeah.
So you don't know. There's no, you know what I mean?
And that's the scary part.
Yeah,
is not
exactly.
knowing.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. When the journey gets tough, genuinely looking within yourself is the hardest part, but I think it's also the most rewarding part.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, of course.
Is there a moment like that for you in your line of work where you're just like, man, why did I do that?
I think it's been a humbling experience for sure. And my work is a little bit different because I obviously represent another voice, a different person. And so there have been very select times, but there have been times where I've posted something and that has not aligned or that somehow misrepresented that person's voice. And I really do believe that's almost inevitable as a social media manager, where you are going to post something.
Well, even on your personal.
And
I think I've deleted about 80,000 things from that.
It's going to just somehow come off wrong, or it just doesn't quite reflect how that influencer wanted it to reflect. And so those are humbling times. It's also stressful as a social media manager to be like, shoot, I put something out I thought was aligned and it wasn't. And so I feel like for me, that's the ugly. That's for sure what I try to avoid. But It's also, I think, the reality. Whether, you're posting from your own account or you're managing someone else's, I think there are going to be those times where you post something and you're like, that's not quite it. And so it's humbling for sure, but it also makes you want to avoid that. So like you said, like really searching your heart, making sure what you're posting to the public, to the masses that could go viral for hundreds of thousands of people, that it's aligned with what you want to say. It's a responsibility being on social media. I don't think we treat it as seriously as we should sometimes. And sometimes all we look at is like, I just want to go viral. Don't care how that happens, what it looks like. But I think to have the integrity is really important in the social media space.
Add value first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's crucial.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, that is a reality. 100 years ago, I could say something to you and no one could ever find out.
Right.
Now I say it and it's recorded everywhere, and
someone's going to pull up your tweet from 15
correct.
years ago.
I could smile at somebody wrong in 7th grade and have my life ruined, or the opposite. I could do something really nice in 7th grade and be set up for life. But what I really appreciate is how much focus and intentionality you guys put on posting, or honestly just living from a place of faith and knowing yourself. And I think it's a scary place to be, and we don't talk about that enough either. Like, expressing your faith, especially on social media, as you mentioned, is a big deal. But when you have a platform where you represent someone else, you almost have to suppress it sometimes. How do you guys handle that? As someone who believes myself, I find myself walking this tightrope of, I want to share that I believe, but also I want people to believe because they want to believe, not because I say so.
Yeah, I think the first thing that I go back to is like, as Christians, like we're not gonna save anyone. All we're supposed to do is plant a seed, and that's it. And then the Lord can use that and water that and work His magic. But all I'm supposed to do is plant a seed, and I can't save anyone. I can't convince anyone. I can't. That's not what I'm called to do. I'm called to love people and plant a seed. So I think when I view it that way, I don't have too much pressure as much. Like I do feel that. I'm like, man, I really want to make sure I'm pushing these things. But like I have a community right inside of my recruitment program and everything like that. And I am very open about my faith. And I have a channel in there that's like faith and stuff. And I do attract a lot of, faith-driven families because of that, I think. But I have a lot that are not as well. And I have, a Jewish family in my community as well. And they're strong in their beliefs. And that it's okay. It's, it's not supposed to, I don't know. It's like, I'm not trying to force it, I'm just trying to live it and show it and be it. Yeah. And that's the best I can do. And I hope that it will reach people in itself versus me trying to feel like I can save someone or make it so clear to someone or convince someone of anything. Speak from myself though.
Yeah. First. I was going to say, what I'm hearing is you're comfortable enough in your own skin and you know what you're doing to where it's like, all right, join me if you want.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't, okay.
Yeah. I have a deep conviction too, to spread that. And I am very passionate about that. And I want, I made a post the other day. I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, if you know something that's amazing and you know Jesus as like your friend and like, gosh, I'm getting emotional. Like he is my friend. Like this is this person that I love, that loves me. Like I want other people to have that. And so I'm like, I want people to know about that. And even though I don't feel qualified, I really don't, to talk about it at the end of the day. Like I don't, but I do, because I'm like, I can't hold on to this person. I want other people to know this person, and that's all I'm going to try and do. And, if I'm not that qualified, like, oh, well, like I'm out here, I'm trying. So,
wow, yeah. I really feel that. And I appreciate your honesty on that. What about for you, Maggie? How do you handle that situation of kind of what you believe in and how it's seen by other people?
Yeah, I mean, definitely echo what Izzy is saying. I think that you also have to be unafraid, or at least courageous enough to know that there will be unfollows and there will be people that dislike that content.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And the accounts that I manage were very faith forward, and the influencer is very faith forward in the content that he puts out. Therefore, the content I put out is also faith forward, echoing what he has said. And a lot of it's very positive feedback. And there are also people that go, oh, I liked when you used to not talk about faith, and I'm unfollowing for this reason, and it's because you're posting faith-based content. And it's being okay with that. Being okay that like my follower metrics are going to reflect that potentially, but that I ultimately am honoring the values of the person, of the account that I'm managing. It's the same for you as well. Like, you're not afraid of the unfollows. You're not afraid of the comments that say, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And that's necessary if you're going to talk about your faith, I think, is to be unafraid of that, and to know that that is also going to be a reality. And you will reach the audience you're meant to reach because you're talking about your values. You're going to find that audience alignment so much more once you just hone in on, these are exactly where I stand. These are exactly my values.
Yeah. I was going to just say that I have always had a very deep conviction to be authentic. And I'm afraid of not being authentic. And I told that actually when I signed to my coach, because at the school that I played for, I was posting on social media, and he was like, it was a video that I made, a YouTube video. And he was like, I saw it. He was like, that was really real. I thought it was interesting or something like that. And I said, yeah, well, one of my deepest goals is to be as authentic as possible. And he was like, that's a really strange goal. And that's what he said to me. And I was like, I found it strange that he found it strange. Honestly, I was like, is that? But that is something that I'm very conscious of. And I want to be. I don't want to be someone I'm not. I don't want to pretend to be someone that I'm not. Like I have a fear of that, honestly. I want to be who I am and just be honest about it, whether it's good or bad, honestly.
Yeah. We circle back to quality in everything. And it's not about how much or how many or how often. It's about how well and how authentic and how honest you are with yourself and with the people in your life. And you're going to fail more than you'll succeed. I promise you that. I can tell you right now, I've lied more times than I've told the truth. It's just the way it is. We're human, right? That's how it goes. But it's in those moments where we tell the truth that matter most. And if we can start to stack those truth-telling moments like you guys have, it just inspires yourself and it inspires so many people around you. Yeah, obviously I could sit here and talk to you both for hours. I'm very fascinated about what you do and why you do it. But unfortunately, we do have to end the conversation. What I want to do though is open the floor to each of you just to give like a last impression here. If there's anything that you want someone to take away from what you said this episode to better their life, what would it be, Izzy?
Figure out what you want first. I think that first, because we've been talking about social media here a lot. I feel like all these things are thrown at you all the time. You're like, oh, I'd want that. Oh, I'd want that. Oh, I'd want that. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that person's life. You don't know what their actual life is. You don't. It's the highlight reel, right? So write down, figure out exactly what it actually is that you want. Get very, very clear on that. And then after you write down what you want, what are the feelings that you associate that you will have with achieving that thing? And then understand that all those feelings that you think that you will get from having that thing that you want, you could just feel those right now.
Yeah.
You really can. It's right now. And I'm taught that over and over and over again. You can write down what you want. What are the feelings that are attached to the thing that you want? Why don't you just go ahead and feel those right now, because you can, and then go pursue it. It'll come a lot faster.
And it will feel better.
And it'll feel a lot better.
Caleb, you're going to make me follow that up now?
I'm sorry.
Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. Same question to you, though, Maggie.
Your turn.
No, that was a great answer. I think just based off our whole conversation, like honor your values and your convictions. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to stand firm in those, to be public with those. Honor that in the work that you do, the career that you choose, the relationships that you choose, the friendships that you have. Honor what you know are your values and convictions. I think that's so important. I think we're sometimes afraid to show them. We want to stifle them. We don't want people to know exactly what we stand for because it might ruffle some feathers, and it probably will. But that's how you'll find your crowd. That's how you'll find your people, by knowing exactly who you are and standing for that. And I think we've seen that play out so beautifully in our own lives. I'm so grateful to be able to be so public with my own values and convictions. And there's a lot of fulfillment that comes with that.
Yeah, wow.
That's good.
Well, thank you again for tuning into this episode of the Make Mental podcast. As always, remember, you are beautiful and you are worth it.